The next one is Mr. Anup Purohit, Global CIO of Wipro Limited. Mr. Anup Purohit brings with him over 25 years of experience across banking and financial services, centered around innovation in digital banking, financial management, business solutions and service delivery, portfolio and program management, risk and controls and information security. Prior to joining Wipro as the Executive Council member and Global Chief Information Officer in May 21, Anup played some important roles in spearheading business technology transformation and digital innovation strategy with a relentless focus on bringing future technology into banking systems, current technology stack. With a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Anup Purohit on the stage.
Hi, good morning, rather good afternoon, everyone. I know I had 20 minutes, but now let's do probably 10, 12 minutes. I'll try and see how I can wrap up the topic of technology change management part of it. Okay, so I'm not going to go through this, but yeah, one important thing that I have survived COVID, which is one good thing I would say. At least my family is very happy about it. But I've been a banking technologist for over 27 years. It's just 1 year that I have switched to a IT/ITS industry. The first time for me in my life that I'm a part of IT/ITS industry. Something different, and I'm enjoying it, part of it. But one thing which, before I start my topic, I just wanted to leave you guys with one thought in my 28 years of experience is technology is simple. We keep on getting new technologies day by day, but I'm sure we will conquer technologies pretty soon. Business slightly complicated. That's my understanding because I've been part of the business teams for long, and I've seen it's slightly, I would say, one notch above when it comes to the technology. People are the most complicated ones. People who run the technology, people who run the business are the most complicated one, and they are the one who can make or break any initiative you run, anything you lead. It's the people who are going, and as a person, as a leader, my always focus has been people. Get the right set of people, get the right wavelength matching up between the people, things will automatically fall into place. With this, I'll just quickly get into technology-led change management. So two things over here. The first being technology is pervasive. Any sector, any domain, any business, you pick it up, airline, BFSI, technology, manufacturing, technology is pervasive. Day by day, the importance of technology or the dependence of the technology on those businesses are increasing. The second is time is changing, but the technology is changing at a much higher speed than time. So that's the second important part. And which is why I kind of slightly flipped the topic which was given to me. Technology-led change management to technology-led change management. Two different things part of it. Technology change management and technology-led change management. And I'm going to use one classic a case study over here, which we just completed in Wipro, and I feel proud that I'm part of it. Normally, when you do run a very core or a very, I would say, large programs, it's once in a life opportunity. For me, it is 3 times. I've done 2 core banking migrations and upgrades, which are kind of a multi-year program. Normally, you don't change core banking in a bank every 5 years or maybe 10 years you change it once. So it's once in a lifetime. Fortunately, 2 core banking, and in a recent role, I have also led the SAP ERP, SAP for HANA ERP migration, and that's first time in my career I was kind of leading this initiative. I didn't even knew how SAP works, part of it. So I will just kind of share quick insight about this program which we completed in January. Just to give the scale of it, we are talking about 230, or rather I would say 275,000 employees across 60 countries, 1 million employee historical records. We're talking about active customers of 1,300 because it's B2B business we run. We are talking about 200,000 customer records, 30,000 SOWs, 160 subsidiaries across the globe, back offices, entities which have been acquired, $100 million spent in 3 years in this initiative, and we are talking about not a ERP system, but it's an ecosystem which we are referring over here. It's not a single, it's an ecosystem of 250 applications which we are all on cloud, talking to each other and running. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a brief of that. Business process and a technology architecture. This is very important. I've written business process first. There's a reason. As a technology folks, when we run a large initiative, we first fall into the pit hole is we start solutioning the technology architecture. यार ये SAP में ये server होगा, ये cloud होगा. We get into all sort of things. हम ये करेंगे, ये bandwidth होगा. This is how we will work. Nobody focuses on the business process because the outcome in such a large program is the business value what to deliver. Nobody focuses on that. And then that's personally I feel is the most important thing than technology. Technology will fall in place. No two ways about it. So this is a very important, I would say, a marriage of a business process and the technology architecture. I'll quickly run through the broad block diagrams part of it. So in nutshell, what were 5 blocks you are seeing? This is something what is needed to run any technology company. Infosys, TCS, Wipro, HCL or any large companies like Accenture, you need these 5 business process domains. If you have mastered this business process domain, you can carry out any technology-led change management over here. The first one, if I pick it up, the customer life cycle. That's your pre-sales and the sales part of it, where you are bidding for an order opportunity, you do your resourcing, you do your budgeting, and then you actually convert that into an order. So that's the first part of it, lead to order. The second part is project life cycle. Once the order is converted, it flows into your project life cycle, you allocate the resources, you do the rate masters, you get into the time sheet management, you get into the revenue recognition, you get into the invoicing. That's the second part of the project order to cash life cycle where you are actually getting into. From project life cycle, I'll go to the finance because then once you have done your invoicing, you get into the revenue recognition, you get into your P&L, you get into your quarterly results out of that, you get into your budget versus actuals, and you get into all sort of financial related matrices in that. And procurement I have written because nowadays sourcing and vendor payout, everything happens to this particular piece. I'll focus on hire to retire. In fact, it is not hire to retire, it is pre-hire to post-retire. Because in the technology companies, you don't hire people in hundreds, you hire people in thousands. 40,000 people you hire per annum. So this machinery has to be robust, seamless, like anything. It starts and then hiring it's across. You hire from campus, you do lateral hire, you hire a global 100 people from across the globe. So you have multiple challenges and there is a different way before you even start the onboarding process. The way you hire these people is a totally different challenge. And I'm saying post-retire because once the people are exiting, you also have an alumni portal where people will come and look at their Form 16s and all those things part of it. Talent supply chain is a marketplace where you hire the people and there is a customer requirement, you broker and you manage between the two. That's a talent supply chain. So if you are leading any technology-led change initiative, which is core to the organization, focus on the business processes first. That's the first learning I have always followed because I call myself as a business technologist, not as a technologist. So for me, it's important to have business first. And the best part what I could see in these is I've done banking. In banking, unfortunately, you don't have a single source of record for your customer. In liabilities, deposits and savings account, you have a different system, credit card, different system, assets, different system, loans, different system, corporate, different system. The good part what I could see in the SAP for HANA was you have a single source of record available over here. This is the front-end application. We all know that SAP front-end is normally not that user-friendly, so you build your own SAP, you build your own Angular front-end. And we are talking about more than 150 odd front ends which were developed to use this application cycle. Then you have your middleware layer because you don't need your business process and core system talking to your front end system directly. So you build your middleware layer API, what Anurag was mentioning about. The important thing which I wanted to highlight over here, this is the ecosystem which provides the unique and the seamless marriage of business process with the technology architecture, and that enables the business acceleration. Because that's the outcome which you are looking at. You are not looking at getting a technology solution in place, but there is no business outcome part of it. So the message which I want to give it over here is when any technology-led change management or initiative which you are running, You have to keep the business outcome at the forefront and then build your plan across that part. I'm not going to spend more time on this slide, but for me, this is important. And that was one of the biggest success factor what we achieved, is that when we started the program, we didn't look at what is a platform SAP or other. We looked at the business processes. We looked at reimagination. We didn't re-engineer. We reimagined every business process. We eliminated what was not required. We simplified it, what was needed. We actually added few more things part of it, and then we ensured that we 100% automated the entire flows part of it. The reason I wanted to put over here is, normally as a technologist, we put technology in front of business outcome. That's kind of a putting kind of a cart in front of a horse. So it's important that we put business processes ahead of technology. Then only you will be able to make a success out of the business outcome. I've just listed down the positive impact which it creates. And again, it's important that you don't highlight the positive outcome as a technology outcome. It has to come out as a business outcome. These are the business domain. How have we been able to add value to the business? That's the part of it. And that's where we see a lot of value which a business technologist can add to the businesses over here. Basis these two slides, I'll quickly give some kind of inputs in terms of what runs when I run a program of this size. I just have a simple thing: why, who, what. I call this a W3H, and that's been part of my you can call it armory for ages. Why are we running this business initiative or the technology-led change management? Why? That's an important part. You need to get that in place. That's very important. What outcome are you looking out for? That's important part. The objective and the outcome. What outcome you are looking out for? What kind of a solution you will be planning? What kind of a buy-in you have from the enterprise when you are going to run this program? Because that's important. If you are running a technology program as a technologist, you will fail. You will 100% fail because there won't be any adoption from the business. You will be running that program alone. There is nobody behind you working on it. So that's important. Enterprise buy-in from all functions. Who? You need to have a sponsorship from board. Nothing less than that. When you are going to run the initiative of like a core banking or all, it has to be top-down, coming from board and not by any single business unit, because that's pretty important. Then you have a sponsor as a top-down, and then you build the teams as a bottoms-up, and that's where you will be able to add value to your or complete give a complete outcome what business is looking out for. This is most important because it is easy to set the objectives, it is easy to set the outcome which you are looking out, but how are you going to deliver it? That is most part of it. You spend 20% in strategizing, but 80% of your effort is going to go, how are you going to deliver it? That's where I was referring to the people part of it, because that's are the folks who can make or break your outcomes. How are you going to build, or are you going to buy, or are you going to get into partner? How are you going to do your financial planning, and how are you going to measure your values realized at a regular interval, not at the end of the program, at a regular interval. You need to measure the outcome which you are looking out for. If you don't do that, fail fast, drop that, figure it out what needs to be done, rather than continuing and giving a half-baked or a not even a cooked solution to your business. Fail fast, measure the value at a frequent interval. That's important part of technology-led change management. So if you want to kind of build the change management framework, it has to be around your core organization principles. What is your core organization principle which you are looking out for, and you need to build everything around that. The first one is transparency across the enterprise. When you are running an initiative, ensure of this scale, which is going to touch every single employee of an organization, which is going to touch your customers, please ensure that there is a clear transparency across the organization. Most important, clarity of thought, what outcome you are looking out for. You need to ensure that is upfront, documented, agreed, and that's what should be your fulcrum when you run this program. Always communicating, that's a basic thing, but I would say 9 out of the 10 times we fail in this area. We don't communicate. We don't communicate with the stakeholders. हमको लग रहा है कि यार सब लोग समझ जाएंगे हमें क्या चाहिए, मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, but nobody understands. Trust me, nobody understands unless you have to make it effort to reiterate, then only people will learn. Sometimes people think Are we idiot that you are reiterating? Doesn't matter. Reiterate. Because the cost of failure is going to be much higher if you don't communicate regularly. Finance, technologists are very poor in the finance management. And in fact, I felt that technologists are generally very poor in project management also. But that's a skill which we need to ensure that you need to manage your project, which is a simple definition. Definite start, definite end with given resources, budgets, and kind of the quality outcome which you are looking out for. So that's important part which we need to focus on. Changing business scenario, fantastic. You keep on stretching your program. You started with an outcome ABC, and then business dynamics have changed, where business needs now C, D, E, F kind of a thing. Then you need to take a call whether you want to continue with this program or no. Technology obsolescence. When you run a long program, we know the technology is changing so fast. By the time you complete the program, all your equipments and all your solutions are outdated and out of support. So that's a pitfall you guys need to follow. Critical success factor of a technology-led change management framework. The first one, technology-led change management framework doesn't mean that it is only technology people who are going to drive. That's the first thing I have seen. सब लोग अपना टेक्नोलॉजी का टीम खड़ा कर देते हैं, but there is no business thinkers in it, there are no business process owners in it, there are no, I would say, right skilled ops people involved in it. And that's the first two part. If you don't have the right set of folks in your team, you will fail. And again, it goes back to my basic principle, people who can make or break it. Securing the key team members, again it leads to ensuring that you have ring-fenced the team, because that's most important part. How? 80%. That's fall into this bucket. Identify, guide, and this is one big thing, because when you're running a long program, people get fatigued. They get fatigued of the program, and then there are chances that they will move on, or they will kind of ensure that you fail for whatever reason. I've seen it in my personal. So you need to have a program coach. In one of our program, I had also kept a psychiatrist as a part of the program, who was talking to the people at a regular time to ensure. Because in a long program, you get fatigue, and that is a major risk to the program which you run. Introspect the value objective at a regular interval. ABC asked, and you are kind of a business dynamics have changed, and you are still delivering ABC, but things, which is the change management part of it. How effectively you need to manage, that's part of it. Last slide, this is the most important, which I feel, because these programs are very few and very notorious, and in my experience, I was running one such big program in one of the MNC bank, running the entire business analytics platform. I failed that program because I was running as a technologist. And that was my first learning, that I ensured that, this is way back in 2008, when I was running that to set up a Teradata and a business intelligence platform, and I failed because I was running as a technologist. So most of the time you will fail if you kind of, and these are the programs where you need to ensure that you have a business partnership. This last leg is very important. You have to keep team motivated, you have to ensure there are champions created. Normally as a part of this large program, you start creating skateboard. यार इसके वजह से problem हो गया यार. Hindsight, everybody's vision is 6x6. अरे इसके वजह से problem हो गया. But it's important that you create champions, because even if you successfully deliver that program, you need those people for a sustenance mode. You can't have the fatigueness in those people. So you have to start creating champions in this team, smaller champion with a very clear funnel who are coming up the curve. Maybe the top people will leave, but you have to start creating the champions below who will kind of run this program. So this is going to be an important part, and continuously kind of measuring the business outcome. That's going to be another one. I know I have already exceeded, so thank you. Any questions? More than happy to take. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anup sir. Please wait. We would like to present a small token of appreciation to you. May I please call Mr. Avinash Velha ahead?